Kodak Black officially released from prison after this happened.
Kodak Black.
You the one.
That's him.
Yeah, are we sure? Let me see. Make sure you're not trying to pull it.
Kodak Black is one of the biggest names to come out of Florida in years, but his rapid rise has been slowed down dramatically thanks to a long list of legal troubles. However, now it looks as though those troubles could soon be over as news of Kodak's shocking release have surfaced. Welcome to Lime Report. Before we begin, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway. Kodak has been fighting weapons charges since last year, and at one point it seemed like the young star would be serving up to 15 years behind bars. But after spending some serious hours in the courtroom, Kodak has delivered good news as the Florida native will be coming home much sooner than anyone expected. The legal battle Black now faces all started in May of last year at the Rolling Loud Festival. Kodak was getting ready to perform his set, but just as he was about to go on stage, he was arrested by both state and federal officers as he faced charges from both levels. According to authorities, Kodak was being arrested for several charges, but the most important were 2 counts of making a false statement on a government form. The charges stem from an incident back in January of 2019 when Kodak allegedly lied on a form while attempting to purchase a firearm. It is a huge federal offense, and given Kodak's legal history, it's no surprise he'd catch a charge for the move. But Kodak's lawyer, Bradford Cohen, felt something was off about the whole situation, and after taking the battle to the prosecutors, finally secured a win that no one thought was possible. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Today we'll be taking a look at the rumors surrounding Kodak Black and his pending release. Don't go anywhere as we reveal the truth behind his unlawful imprisonment and the swift moves made by his legal team to finally get the charges revoked and set Kodak free. You won't want to miss any of this. Kodak Black is a bit of a wild card in the rap game, but his authenticity is partly what allowed the artist to climb up the charts so quickly. Along with his upfront attitude, Kodak's unique charisma has been a breath of fresh air for the music industry and helped him to carve out his own lane. However, as his stock has continued to rise, Kodak has constantly been harassed by law enforcement, and it's made his ascension into the big leagues pretty turbulent. Just last year, Kodak was arrested twice and is still facing the legal proceedings for each case. But just as things started to seem bleak for the young Florida native, a beacon of light came through for him as his attorney worked tirelessly to scrape the extra years off his sentence. The fact of the matter is that while Kodak often finds himself in trouble, he hardly does so with the intention of harming anyone else. Kodak has been involved mostly in victimless crimes throughout his storied past. With that in mind, Cohen decided to sit down with the state attorney to discuss his client's situation with the opposition. At first, people thought the lawyer had gone crazy, as no one would want to listen to Kodak's story. But much to Cohen's delight, the state attorney was willing to hear him out, and that proved to be the turning point for the young rapper's case. Bradford Cohen stated that he sat down with Miami-Dade state attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle for a discussion about his client. And apparently he left a good enough impression of Kodak that several of his weapons charges were dismissed. According to our sources, Kodak was facing 2 charges of possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, as well as several other charges. Together, the possession charges carry a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison, but have been dropped thanks to the meeting. Cohen is Kodak's longtime attorney, and the two have fought through many tough cases together. What Cohen has consistently shown is an unwavering sense of dedication that he owes each of his clients, something that has made him highly respected in the hip-hop world. However, while Cohen was able to get the 2 biggest charges dropped from Kodak's case, there's still plenty of work to be done before the rapper can finally taste freedom. Keep watching as we reveal the insane hurdles Kodak has to jump through before he's able to reunite with his family. Exclusively here on Lime Report. Authorities seem to be coming at Kodak pretty hard from the jump with the charges filed against him, and things immediately didn't sit right with his lawyer. From the moment Kodak was arrested, Cohen knew something fishy was up and has been working to get his client released since. The biggest problem was the fact that Kodak had been shipped away to a maximum security prison, over 1,100 miles away from his family. According to Cohen, the law states an inmate shall be no further than 500 miles from his home, proving that Kodak's rights were clearly being violated. But even worse than the distance from his family was the treatment that the young star had been receiving at the prison facility. Kodak had been transferred from a county jail in Miami to the infamous mass security prison in Kentucky known as Big Sandy. Shortly after being moved to the prison, Kodak Black's social media reported that the rapper was involved in a serious altercation with authorities at the facility. Per the post, Kodak has been barred from using the phone as punishment for his incident that took place while he was incarcerated in Miami. Several inmates told the rapper's team that he was handcuffed and beaten by 7 guards on Friday. The post went on to allege that Kodak was hit in the head repeatedly with a metal object. One of the guards further humiliated Kodak by emasculating him. Then one of the guards flicked his genitals and said, "You're not so gangster now. You're gonna need bigger bleep to survive." The post claims Kodak's lawyer took up arms against public authorities when he alleged that they conspired to arrest the rapper and have been mistreating him ever since. When he first heard of the beating, Cohen was obviously outraged and demanded an investigation be held. I've requested that Big Sandy preserve all video and conduct a full investigation. I've also reached out to DOJ as I feel that a third-party investigation needs to take place immediately. Cohen wrote on Instagram, "There are recordings of the witnesses that called and stated what happened to Bill. A 22-year-old man serving approximately 2 years more for a non-violent crime is in a max pen. 1,100 miles from his family and lawyers. This is true injustice. It's become increasingly obvious that Kodak has been targeted and mistreated by the justice system in the last few years. Cohen knew from the start that something was amiss, and once he found his proof, he was outraged." Now the lawyer is clamping down on the system and seeing several legal wins in the process that have moved him closer than ever to getting Kodak Black the freedom he deserves. Stay with us, the long-awaited release of the Project Baby is near, but there's still one thing in his way before he can get home. You won't want to miss out on this. It was clear to the start for Kodak's attorney that they were mistreating his client and he was the only one that could do anything about it. The fact of the matter was that Kodak was never supposed to be in Big Sandy in the first place. According to his judge, back when he was sentenced last year, the Florida native's criminal history was overstated. His history of drug use was overstated, and his criminal history was deemed to be Category 2, despite the pre-sentence investigation noting that it was a Category 3. According to legal documents, the Bureau of Prisons disregarded the information that was entered due to a clerical error, categorizing him in the 3rd degree of criminal history. Thanks to that small mistake, he was sent to Big Sandy. If it weren't for that one clerical error, much of the bad things that have happened to Kodak since could probably have been avoided altogether. Cohen went on to explain the situation and how he was able to get Kodak back on the right track, saying, "The reason why we filed a Rule 46 motion to correct clerical error is because in the PSI, which is a pre-sentence investigation report, it listed his prior criminal history as a Category Level 3, which obviously is more serious than a 1, 2, 3 is worse," said Cohen. But they used a 3 in the PSI. The judge agreed with me at the time of sentencing that the Level 3 overstates his criminal history, because some of his priors were for like possession of under 20 grams of marijuana. With the legal victory in place, Cohen was able to all but guarantee that Kodak Black will be free from his imprisonment way before anyone expected. While the correction of the documenting error definitely helped Kodak's case, Cohen pulled off the ultimate move when he was able to convince the prosecutor to have some mercy on the rapper. The conditions Kodak was in blocked him from access to many privileges. When discussing with the state attorney about the dismissals, Cohen said, at the end of the conversation, they were concerned that he couldn't get into the court-ordered drug treatment with an open case in a max security prison. He continued, they agreed that the fair thing to do was to dismiss the case so he can attend drug treatment in a lower security prison. We both felt he had positive things on each side of the case, but we didn't even discuss that, Cohen explains. More just discussed in terms of fairness and what we thought was fair because Kodak was charged federally. because he wasn't a convicted felon, so he couldn't charge him federally for a convicted felon. Dade County Attorney Catherine Rundle agreed with what Cohen had to say, and the two sides were able to work out a deal easily. According to the lawyer, she was like, "Listen, I want to do the right thing. I want to do what's fair, and I think it's fair to dismiss the charges. He's already taken a plea to the federal charges. I don't want to hold him up in terms of getting help for any kind of treatment he may need. And I also don't want a 22-year-old kid in a maximum security federal detention center when he doesn't belong there." The support of the state prosecutor has gone a long way in giving Kodak the space necessary to fulfill his legal obligations and return to his real life. While it may be a long road before he's able to come back to the real world, it's pretty clear that his lawyer is doing everything he can to make sure Kodak is treated with fairness and respect until he's able to see to his release. But when will Kodak finally be freed from his dwindling jail time? And will he be able to keep himself out of trouble long enough to release a new project or face yet another barrage of setbacks as always? Thanks for joining us on Lime Report, everyone. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And before you go, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway.